Today, we're talking Batman villain Mount Rushmore, looking through all of the Batman villains that have ever existed in, I guess, any medium besides the comics. So you could talk video games, TV shows, movies, or whatever. But the three of us aren't enough. We are joined by a pair of Johns, regular co-panelist John Sekula, as well as friend of the show, John Parolski.
What up?
No one could say John in this episode.
Yeah, no Johns allowed.
It is Sekula and Podowski.
So, yeah, Josh, you kind of created this format. We did it for the Christmas TV specials. What were your major takeaways from the last time we tried this out?
I thought it went very well. 2 out of my 4 Mount Rushmores made the final, and I'm hoping that will continue.
Wait, because you win, you think it went well?
Yes.
What if you didn't win anything?
It would have been a dead format.
Alden, how are you feeling today, man? All right.
How was Revenge of the Sith, Alden?
Oh, terrible as always.
I'm going to start things off today. For my Thomas Jefferson, my pick is Calendar Man from The Long Halloween. He's got about 2.5 minutes of screen time, I'd say, but he's voiced by Alden. Polka Dot Man from the Suicide Squad movie with James Gunn. I really like this portrayal of Calendar Man because it leaves a lot to the interpretation. Josh, on to you. What do you have?
Because it's a bit controversial. My George Washington is a Joker from Batman 1989, played by Jack Nicholson.
Hey, solid.
That is controversial.
Like a classic.
I'm a fan of the classics, what can I say? But what I personally like that makes Jack Nicholson my favorite is, at the time, Byrne was just like, fuck it, these are my movies, I'm gonna do what I want. And to change the origin kinda to have, spoiler alert for a 40-year-old movie, it was revealed that Joker was the one who killed Batman's parents. I thought was really cool. And how important that movie is to cinema was a thing that was brought in. And also, like, my parents, like, think the canon is that Joker was the one who did it. Like, there's a whole generation of people that, like, just think that's just the lore of Batman.
They're straight up wrong.
Jack Nicholson was the perfect man to play the Joker at the time. Also, I love the Joker's goons in it. That was a big part of it as well.
The fashion, too, dude.
Yes. Party Man, that whole museum scene, one of the best scenes in any Batman movie.
And I'm going to pick Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
He was not a Batman villain.
Damn.
Shit, his whole list is ruined.
Abraham Lincoln, vampire hunter.
For my Abraham Lincoln pick, I put Harvey Dent, Two-Face from the DC animated universe.
Oh.
Classic. Love this portrayal. Love this origin story of Two-Face in the DC animated show. What the DC animated universe that started with 92's Batman the Animated Series created with these tragic backstories for villains is kind of wild that it's a kid's show. He was friends with Bruce Wayne like how he was in the comics. They did end up going to boarding school together at some point while Bruce would sneak out and train. Bruce and Harvey have that tight relationship.
All right, Alden, what's your first take here?
I'm scared.
I'm trying to choose. I think I'll go with my safe answer for now. My safest one is my Washington, and I'm going to say Joker in The Dark Knight, specifically.
Solid. Fair. We expected it. We knew it was going to happen. We knew this was coming.
There it is.
I didn't expect it from Alden's dumbass.
The Dark Knight is kind of probably the most known media for Batman. In terms of all of that, and everyone compares any other Joker to him.
So many quotable lines, scenes. The Dark Knight is great.
I know someone who has been Heath Ledger's Joker for Halloween since the movie came out. Every single year without...
That's like 12 years.
12 years of Joker. Sekula, to you. Let's have you pick a Batman villain to put on the Rushmore.
I'm picking my Teddy Roosevelt, which I have as Danny DeVito Penguin. Maybe my opinion will change with, Tom Hardy. Is it Tom Hardy in the new one?
Oh, Colin Farrell.
Even more of a ridiculous choice.
Yeah, they got him in prosthetic makeup to look exactly like Richard Kind for some reason.
in Batman Returns, they literally, like, the kids were going in there like, yeah, I'm gonna go see my new Batman movie, hell yeah. And then you see this fucking grotesque, like, monstrous, he's disgusting, he looks like he always has hypothermia, and that he's leaking black goo from his mouth all the time.
Black's just always coming out of his mouth.
Like, he's just disgusting and gross, and Danny DeVito plays that perfectly because he is disgusting and gross.
It might be one of Danny DeVito's best performances, like, no joke. We're going back around for round 2, and I think I'm gonna do my Abraham Lincoln now. I've got Red Hood, specifically from Under the Red Hood.
Oh, good one.
This has one of the best emotional payoffs in any Batman adaptation from any material. This specific iteration of Red Hood is the strongest emotional connection I think Batman has ever had to an antagonist, and I also think it's really interesting that this character's not a full villain. At the end of the day, he thinks he's doing what's right, and in the context of the movie he's doing simply what Batman can't do. Josh, what is your next nomination on the Mount Rushmore?
I'm gonna go with my Teddy Roosevelt. A villain from the Dark Knight trilogy, specifically The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh.
Played by Tom Hardy. Yes, I'm picking him. It's Bane.
I'm glad somebody did.
And I think the way Nolan decided to do the Bane character a lot differently. He's not this luchador wrestler that was an experiment. He connected him to the League of Shadows. I think all of that was great. The fight with him and Batman in the weird sewer lair, whatever, is one of my favorite Batman fights ever.
Parolski, what is your next nomination, the next head on your Mount Rushmore?
For my Thomas Jefferson, I'm going to put Andrea Beaumont, the Phantasm.
Oh.
I think it's a really good villain, and it's that Catwoman complex, but shoved into the animated universe and not in context of the Tim Burton films, which is how that Catwoman was influenced by.
Alden, to you, what are you nominating onto the Mount Rushmore?
I think it's time to get a little controversial. I'm going to pick my Lincoln. That is Ratcatcher. And if you want me to get specific, which I don't want to, I just want the character in general, but specifically Batman Beyond.
Oh.
Interesting. Carries around a hockey stick. He looks like Casey from TMNT.
He's Casey and Splinter mixed into one character. What more could you want? And why Ratcatcher?
I think rats, as an animal, get a bad rap. Like, they're definitely cooler than we give them credit for.
Then why wasn't Ratatouille winning the Pixar episode, Alden?
French people, Josh.
That's a good point. Sakula, what's your next villain?
And my Abraham Lincoln is also a Two-Face. It is Telltale Two-Face.
Nice. I like this.
I was going to pick the Nolan version of Two-Face, and then I thought about it, and I was like, this one is by far my favorite. I love how, first of all, the design. It's got this beautiful mix of the animated version and the grotesque Nolan version. It's clearly influenced by the Nolan version because he's disgusting looking and he's constantly bleeding on everything.
I screwed it up. I saved Harvey Dent, so I never got the Two-Face, but he still turned evil, and it was really awkward.
We did not do that. We saved Catwoman.
We all have different playthroughs of the game.
I am also picking a Two-Face here, and I am going with the more popular choice. In my Theodore Roosevelt spot, I'm going with Two-Face, Harvey Dent from The Dark Knight. He's doing everything he can on paper to stop this criminal underbelly of Gotham. He's the perfect person. To me, it's the best thing about the entire trilogy is seeing the parallels between this White Knight of Gotham and everything that Bruce Wayne is doing. And the fact that they're like a yin and a yang is awesome. It's so well done, and the fact that it's done in such a short amount of time, it blows my mind, because by the time that the first of 4 climaxes in this movie happens, and Harvey Dent gets his face blown off, and his girlfriend dies, and he's in this weird love triangle with Bruce Wayne and doesn't even know it. It's crazy to me how good they handle him snapping and then him becoming this agent of chaos, provoked by the Joker to literally just go and do what he wanted to do from the beginning and get rid of all these fucking mobster ties that kill the people that wronged him.
It would have been cool if they had Aaron Eckhart in the first movie as well. They didn't shoot Katie Holmes' boyfriend in the first movie, and he continued on, and you saw that portrayal, but he just does the character so well. And our only other adaptation of this in live action is Tommy Lee Jones's version, which, no fault to the guy, but the movie and the universe it lives in is just wild.
The emotional crux of The Dark Knight, the best Batman movie, is Harvey Dent.
Solid. No, absolutely solid.
Josh, to you, brother.
I'm about to cheat a little bit. My next one is Superman from the Injustice video games.
Oh, Josh, what a great pick.
I don't think anyone has tested Batman's morals and beliefs like this version of Superman does in these Injustice games.
What a great pick, Josh.
Solid. So solid.
Yeah, that was out there. That was a hot take, but I like the case.
And I'm going to now place at Theodore Roosevelt, Selena Kyle, Catwoman.
There we go.
From the DC animated universe.
I had her in my honorable mentions, the one from the video game, the Arkham games.
While I do agree, and I think that is such, honestly, probably the best portrayal of, comic booky Catwoman in media, Selena Kyle from the animated series, once again, was directly inspired from the Tim Burton universe. They really push that Catwoman Batman love story, and I just think they do it so well throughout the animated series.
I don't know if this one will work, so I have a backup too. I would like your opinion on if you consider this a Batman villain or not. But in my Thomas Jefferson spot, I have a Dalek from the Lego Batman movie.
No.
Hey, what?
A Dalek, the little robot things from Doctor Who.
Oh.
What the fuck, Alden?
I'll accept it if you have Condiment King with him.
What's your alternate option here? Because I'm not willing to discredit the Dalek.
I am.
Okay, that's fine. My backup is Calculator.
I hate you.
God damn it.
I personally really like the Brave and the Bold version because it's just some dude in a chair.
It's a Discord moderator.
It's a Discord mod.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Mm-hmm.
I really like that Elon Musk is bringing us into the future that could create Calculator.
Do you find Calculator relatable, Alden?
Not really, but I do appreciate that he's kind of the chair guy, literally.
As Ned would say, the guy in the chair.
We're moving on to Sakula. What's your third Batman villain being nominated to your personal Mount Rushmore?
So this one was really hard for me. There's a lot of ones that I had in contention for this spot. My unhinged take for my Thomas Jefferson position is Harley Quinn from the DCEU, basically. So Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad, all of her appearances, Birds of Prey, I guess you could count. This is the definitive casting and portrayal of Harley Quinn on the big screen.
She single-handedly usurps an entire corrupt government by mistake.
Yeah.
The red flag wasn't the dictator, it wasn't that he kills just random people to remain in power. It's that he killed kids. That was her red flag, and she just wiped out half of the government.
Fantastic portrayal. Every appearance she has, I love the costuming, the makeup, her performance. I think she deserves a spot on the Mount Rushmore just because of the cultural impact. I mean, shit, we haven't been able to go to Halloween since the first Suicide Squad movie without seeing somebody putting on some Harley Quinn makeup.
All right, well, I'm going with my last nomination here, my George Washington pick. So far, the oldest performance on here to date. We are talking about Joker, played by Cesar Romero in the 60s Batman series, the television series and the movie.
Mustache Joker.
And I don't think there's been a portrayal of the Joker that is more of just a wild card, so to speak, an absolute force of anarchy than Cesar Romero's Joker in the Batman series. And this is the only wild Joker we've ever had, and is my take on the best Joker we've seen on screen yet.
Solid. I was too scared to pick this one.
I am picking Max Shrek.
Nice.
So Shrek did make it on the Mount Rushmore, Alden. Played by the legendary Christopher Walken, an original character that Tim Burton made that I completely respect, and he's gonna be this complete prick that throws his secretaries out the window and, like, tries to convince a penguin to run for mayor. This man, if we want to talk about unhinged, this man is unhinged.
Max Shrek's like, Bruce Wayne is Batman?
What I love about it is, like, it fits so well into that Tim Burton universe. Super underrated, the top underrated character that I've said on here. A true mastermind behind the chaos that is Tim Burton from these movies that I love.
All right, Parolski, I think what we were just talking about is pretty relevant to your George Washington. Let's hear it.
So, do you know what killed the dinosaurs?
Oh my god.
The Ice Age! No, I picked the DC animated universe because I'm not insane like you people.
How dare you get my hopes up like that?
Dr. Victor Freeze. So when the animated series came about, they completely rewrote his origin story and created the Heart of Ice episode, which won a Daytime Emmy. This version of the character, they made such a tragic backstory. And as someone who likes Star Wars a lot, it's like this guy's Darth Vader.
We could not have gotten through an episode of Duel with Parolski without mentioning Darth Vader. Or Star Wars at all.
Yeah, he's perfect.
He's a perfect Byronic hero because, like, in order to save the person he loved, he had to become a monster, and that's the reason why when she comes back to life, she doesn't love him anymore. It's great. It's something pulled out of, like, 1800s Gothic literature and thrown into a Batman villain. Alden's Theodore Roosevelt, what do you got here?
For my Teddy Roosevelt, I feel like Poison Ivy might be a solid pick.
Which one?
Uma Thurman?
Yeah, specifically Uma Thurman.
Oh, I was kidding.
Rubber lips.
No, I'm not.
She won a Razzie for that.
I didn't know that. Okay. She stood out in this really weird script. I honestly kind of only pick Batman and Robin version because of the meme, but also, like, I really appreciate her role. And I think that what Poison Ivy kind of does fits alongside Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, she does care about the environment.
Nice.
That was my main reasoning for her in this spot.
Good job, Alden.
Sakula, the final nomination here. What is your George Washington or Joker?
I was between Joaquin Joker and another character.
I don't doubt it.
Okay, I don't know if that's an insult or just a state on my character, but I don't know which one is worse.
Uh-oh.
I'm just busting your chops, kid.
Here he comes.
I know I invited you onto onto this show, but it wasn't to make fun of you, please.
My George Washington pick is the Arkham Joker.
I'm actually shocked it took us this far for somebody to bring up a Mark Hamill joke.
Exactly. He feels classic. But he also feels like a new kind of sadistic, like an M-rated sadistic that you couldn't have in the animated series. In any of the Batman comics I've ever read, I read it in Mark Hamill's voice. Like, I can hear that echo.
But now that you've said something about reading it in Mark Hamill's voice, I think I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I've never really noticed that I do that.
No, it's because his voice is the Joker's voice.
I think this is a good segue into finally doing our final four, and I think we need to have an all-out Joker debate to kick things off.
I 100% agree.
Only one Joker could be on this Mount Rushmore, and we have to decide it now.
We've got Cesar Romero's Joker from the 1960s Batman series. We've got Joker from Batman 89, played by Jack Nicholson. We've got Heath Ledger's take on the Joker from the Christopher Nolan The Dark Knight. And we've got Joker from the Arkham series, voiced by Mark Hamill. What is the definitive Joker? What is the George Washington of Batman villains?
Can I just say, since I didn't pick a Joker, I'm on Sakula's side.
The Arkham version of Mark Hamill's Joker is not the best version of Mark Hamill's Joker. It's probably the third. It probably goes animated series, Return of the Joker, and then Arkham Joker. But without Jack Nicholson's Joker, we would not have not only future Batman movies, but possibly future superhero movies. The cultural impact of that film itself is huge.
I personally think in the context of this, my heart is also aligning with the Batman 89 Joker because I feel like he's a true middle ground of that representation.
Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight is still a contender for this spot because of
For sure.
how much any other Joker that will ever exist is going to get compared to.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix and fucking Jared Leto both. I feel like they're just doing shittier Heath Ledger Jokers.
He was more of like, oh, goofy clown guy fights Batman. For the 60s, that works. But if we want to talk about how the cultural lexicon views the Joker, I could see the argument for 89, and the only other one that I really see as a real contender for this spot is the Dark Knight Joker.
The Arkham series Joker encompasses a little bit of all three of those, but in my opinion doesn't excel in any of those three categories.
I'd see that's where I disagree. I think that he excels at being the Joker, the definition of the Joker, the way that when I picture what the Joker is, I see the Batman Arkham Joker's face.
John, what Joker do you want eliminated? Parolski, I should say.
60s.
Yeah, okay. Sakula, what Joker do you want eliminated?
I'm sorry, Nate, but it's got to be Cesar Romero.
Alden, Josh, are you guys on the same wavelength here?
No.
I was going to do Mark Hamill's Joker.
Oh, I was also going to pick Arkham series.
I'm also eliminating the Arkham series Joker.
Whoa!
Oh.
Sorry, buddies.
What an upset.
Parolski, which one you getting rid of? Cesar Romero again?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'm assuming same to you, John.
Yep, yeah.
And Alden, Josh, are we getting rid of Cesar Romero here?
I could say Dark Knight's Joker.
Rather not. I was going to say 89.
I'm getting rid of my own nomination, and here we are. We're fighting the two normie Jokers head to head. This is a debate.
Come on, Podolski.
The ball is in your court. You have to fight between the two normie Jokers. Which one is better? You get the final say here. It's a tie.
Joker from 89 is a mafia member, so he's perfect. I want him.
We've got our Joker Washington. Now we need to place the Thomas Jefferson, the Abraham Lincoln, and the Theodore Roosevelts here.
John, if you want to, you could fight Mr. Freeze here because these characters kind of suck.
I don't think Harley Quinn is, to me at least, in context of this list, that portrayal of Harley Quinn is able to stand up there with the rest of these people we're putting up here. So I'm going to put Mr. Freeze here.
All right. Sounds like we've got our Thomas Jefferson and Dr. Victor Freeze. Another pattern that I'm seeing is multiple Two-Face / Harvey Dents nominated.
Yeah. My thing is, Harvey Dent being on this list multiple times, it goes to show, like, Harvey Dent is such a good character.
I like all these Harvey Dents. The most interesting stuff about Harvey Dent is pre-Two-Face. Once he becomes the villain, he kind of just becomes the standard Batman villain.
I mean, dependable on which portrayal.
That's why I think why the Telltale Batman encompasses those things, because you get so much. Like, that's what I don't like about the Nolan Batman is you don't get enough of their relationship before he becomes Two-Face.
And then he just kind of falls off a building.
Yeah. I hate that.
I think it's wild that Tim Burton, of all people, had the foresight to put Harvey Dent in the first movie in his Batman series, and Christopher Nolan did not. I think that I would be able to make a stronger case for Two-Face here if that bizarre love triangle between Bruce Wayne, Rachel, and fucking Harvey Dent was established in Batman Begins to some capacity, and we got to see scenes with Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent before the events of The Dark Knight. But that's something that didn't happen. I'm picking the animated series.
Me as well.
It's tough. I think I gotta go with the animated series as much as I love Aaron Eckhart's portrayal. And I do like the Telltale ones.
I feel like I'm going to lose on this, but I'm going to stick to my guns. I think the Telltale Batman is the pinnacle version of Two-Face.
Let's go. Look at that, two DC animated universe things.
I was about to say, Podolski's got 2 on the board. What's going on here?
Josh, you've been making one hell of a case for Superman. I'm going to default back to my Red Hood.
Parolski side with me. Penguin Batman Returns, best version of Penguin.
The problem is, you guys know me. I'm going to go with something that's animated.
I want to call you a weeb, but it doesn't fit.
He's not a weeb, he's a monster. I don't think that Harley Quinn is going to get accepted by this panel, no matter how much I fight for her.
Superman is such a bold pick, though. It's the only, really controversial one left, unless Alden's calculator makes a run.
If you're just looking at the rogues gallery of Rushmore, and you're like, damn. And then it's just freaking Superman right there, and you're like, Batman's most famous villain, Superman.
See, that feels wrong to me.
For our generation, Batman's one of his most famous villain is Superman. The Injustice game was huge for us growing up.
And the Dark Knight Returns movie, and the Batman v Superman movie. In Nate's defense, Red Hood in context of that movie.
It's a great movie. Even if we're talking about Batman's biggest failures with a Robin, I would argue Return of the Joker did that the best.
I want Under the Red Hood here, but I'm a Nate stan. I'm a animated stan.
I'm a Nate stan.
If anybody wants to fight with me for Penguin, I'm here for that, but otherwise I'm picking Bane here.
I think out of all the villains left, when it comes to design alone, the Penguin is the most, creative.
Especially that version, hands and everything. That was the first time that happened.
I will say, though, it is so weird to not have a woman on here. Bruce Wayne is, a playboy, and, I know she's not on here, but Talia al Ghul, so many of them are these anti-heroes, but Catwoman is the one that is a reason why we have had multiple Catwoman adaptations the past 20 years.
I'm so excited for Zoe Kravitz, bro.
Same.
She's not a villain. She is, but she does villainous things, but she's not in his rogues gallery.
She's most definitely in his rogues gallery.
Barely. She's mostly on his side most of the time.
I think it's weird that we've had 3 on-screen, live-action Selena Kyle's, more than any character besides Joker, and I would say there's still not a definitive one.
Yep, I agree.
If the argument is to pick a woman for our Teddy Roosevelt spot, it should be Harley Quinn.
Actually, I think I am on the side of Harley Quinn here. The fact that I've met people whose parents named them Harley Quinn is insane.
I was about to say, Kevin Smith.
I'm sticking with Alden on this one.
I think from a cultural standpoint, if you were to ask any person right now to name 3 Batman villains, I do think Harley Quinn would be mentioned, just because that character's oversaturated as all be.
Nate's got to make the decision.
From a Mount Rushmore standpoint, I don't think we're ever going to get a better Harley Quinn than the one that's in movies and right now. I think there is so much potential for Selena Kyle to be brought to the screen. I have to cast my vote for Harley Quinn. And it's 100% credit to Margot Robbie and none of the writing staff.
That's for sure.
Did Nate and Alden not get a pick on the Mount Rushmore?
I didn't expect me to get it.
I thought Nate was going to get a pick.
Here is our group Mount Rushmore. The George Washington spot is Jack Nicholson's portrayal of Joker in Batman 1989. In the Thomas Jefferson spot, we have Dr. Victor Fries from the DC animated universe. In the Abraham Lincoln spot, we've got Harvey Dent / Two-Face from the DC animated universe. And in the Theodore Roosevelt spot, we do have Margot Robbie's take on Harley Quinn, DC extended universe. This is the definitive Batman Rogues Gallery. Thank you, Parolski, for joining us. Sakula, your voice was definitely heard this episode. Josh and Alden, we gotta build a Batman next week.
Check out the Scary Box.
Scary Box, Nicholas Alexander. Links in the description.
Beauty.